Welcome back to Ty's DIY, my kitchen cabinet redo. So thank you guys so much. This is the fourth and final installation because I'm finally done. It only took 3 weeks, but that's okay. I didn't work on it every single day. So if you do decide to attempt this at home, just know that it doesn't have to take you quite so long. Before I show you the finished product, I want to go over just a couple of things first. So again, long process, absolutely worth it. If you want to do your kitchen cabinets right, want to have that completely refreshed look, you can take everything down off the walls. If you recall the previous installations, I didn't take everything off the walls, right? I just took off the doors and took off the drawers. I left the actual cabinets themselves on the wall, and I just taped appropriately and did everything that way. It takes a lot of space. You have to have really pretty spacious workspace depending on the amount of cabinets that you had. I had a combination of 27 doors and drawers. So once I took all that stuff down, you have to have a place to put it and have a good workspace. So keep that in mind as well. In preparation, I know I talked about it probably in the first video or second video, but it required quite a few steps before I was able to get to the actual finished painting time. When I took down the doors and took out the drawers and placed everything, I had to clean them. Because in the kitchen, even though they look clean, you might feel like they're clean, lots of dirt and grime, picks up in the kitchen. So you want to make sure that you have your completely clean surface. Then I sanded, and I used a liquid sander. So I didn't want to sand it down completely. I just wanted to, take a good light finish off. So I used a liquid sander. It worked pretty good. Depending on your cabinets, it might work for you, it might not, but I made it work. So after I cleaned it and after I did the liquid sander, I then put on a primer. And I want to put the primer on, obviously we put the primer on so that it helps to block previous color and helps to more evenly distribute your paint. With my cabinets being so dark and I know it was going to a light color, I think that primer was important. So I put on 1 coat of primer, and after that, 2 coats of the paint, and then 2 coats of the polyurethane. The polyurethane was the protective cover over top of it, and I put that on for 2 reasons. 1, I wanted to make sure that the paint was, protected, and 2, for a high gloss. And actually, we chose a clear, warm semi-gloss that was supposed to give it that pop. And I'll talk about that in just a bit. But in between the coats of the polyurethane, you do have to lightly sand before you put on the second coat. So it is a process. Don't expect that you'll be able to get your paint and let it dry from the polyurethane and another coat on the same day. It's not gonna happen. So give yourself time to space out your project. After the 2 coats of polyurethane, then I had to let it sit and rest for about 24 hours, 36 hours, depending on the temperature. And I did for about, probably about 36 hours before I attempted to put everything back in place. But it was so worth it. I can't wait to show you the finished product. So, just to back up a little bit, you remember what the cabinets looked like before? And here's what it looks like now. So the final reveal, I hope you guys love it as much as we love it. It's so bright in here, it's so wonderful. It feels like there's a light on all the time. We chose a color called Apricot Whisper. The name doesn't necessarily reflect the color because apricot, you think of something different, right? But it's really like an almondy color, and we weren't sure about the color at first, but we absolutely love it. The hardware that we chose, it is a brushed brass color. It's so perfect to go with the copper ceilings and the undertones and colors in the island. So we couldn't be happier. Just a few things. First, thank you so much for joining me for all 4 of these installations. Super fun. Looking forward to doing more projects. I have several on my mind, but I'll share them with you later. So I absolutely tune in. I will go ahead and post all the materials that I needed and used for this project. So for anybody who's looking to do their own cabinet remodel, you'll have an idea of where to start. Before I say goodbye, I'm going to share with you 2 takeaways that I learned going through this process. 1, to help cut down on the amount of time that it takes to do your cabinets, definitely invest in a sprayer, but invest in a good sprayer. Had I taken the advice of my brother and invested in that several $100 sprayer, I probably could have finished a whole lot sooner. So go ahead and do that. It'll just help to speed you up. Second huge takeaway, the polyurethane. I put a polyurethane over top of the 2 coats of paint to give it more of a shine and to protect the finish. What I realized afterward is that even though it said clear, it also said warm finish, and I think a warm finish meant that it had a slightly yellow tint to it. So it ended up changing the color of the cabinets just slightly. We still love it, but if you want your cabinets to be true to the color that you chose, really make sure that whatever polyurethane or whatever protectant you put over it really is clear. But other than that, those are my 2 biggest takeaways. Other than that, we absolutely love it. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you on the next DIY project.